Additionally, it states that governors are a creed of governors, Federal Reserve maybe. Okay, let's start here, it reads. Larry Fink, CEO of BlackRock. Tokenization of stocks and bonds will be the next big thing in markets. This topic has been covered extensively on this channel. The amount of money in the globe is enormous. Just the stock market alone is worth over $100 trillion worldwide. The bond market has a value of between $140 and $100. The most recent one I've seen is this one. So let me read this to you first and then we'll play it. BlackRock here, Larry Fink is listed. The tokenization of stocks and bonds will be the next generation of markets. However, did you know that Donde Finance has already tokenized US Treasury bonds using the XRP ledger? Additionally, a business by the name of Open Eden is tokenizing treasuries on the XRP ledger. Therefore, I believe that several businesses will be developing comparable products that institutions will want to utilize. This is only one of those goods, by the way. Guess who's quietly partnered with Ono? It also asks. BlackRock, it says. Here is a video clip of Larry Fink. Pay attention. There is a man seated next to Larry Fink in the midst of the video, and he agrees with everything Larry says if you simply wait for it to finish. However, cryptocurrency will be quite important. Currency and all of our activities are becoming digital. I firmly think that this is the one thing that will transform Bloomberg. Since we currently have the technology, I think we'll be at the forefront of tokenizing equities and bonds. Tokenization of all stocks and bonds is going forward, which is ridiculous. We ought to be heading in that direction. There will undoubtedly be winners and losers and everything, but we must be ready for tokenization. Tokenizing bonds will further democratize the financial... Of course. Okay? The man replies. Thus, a co-founder from Goldman Sachs joined. The majority of BlackRock's top executives also did. Gary Gensler did as well. The SEC confronted Ripple. They battled, came to an agreement, and left cleaner than anyone had anticipated. What if this wasn't a penalty? Could this have been an initiation? Thus, it does discuss the background of Gary Gensler. Additionally, it displays this data here, only illustrating the linkages. Discussions about Circle does discuss BlackRock, you know. BlackRock has already filed an ETF called ISARS Genomics IML Immunology and Healthcare Index ETF, ticker XDNA. It states after discussing XDNA. I apologize, I am obviously not accustomed to the medical terminology. Therefore, it's okay if I mispronounce those. Additionally, it states investing in DNA and health data and genomic infrastructure is the focus of this ETF. Hold off until you can observe the events on the XRP ledger. Thus, this is the illustration. ISARS Genomics is shown, followed by a discussion of its access to companies on the forefront, as well as genomics and immunology. After that, it talks about DNA protocols on the XRP ledger and how the DNA on-chain was launched on July 4th, the same day President Trump signed the One Large Lovely Bill in 2011, which mysteriously awakened Bitcoin Wallet's objective of decentralized and sovereign DNA identity encrypted medical data. It states the post-reset world's access credentials. Can you guess the ticker they use for this token? Then there's XDNA, the same one. Additionally, it states that there is a pre-sale for it. Interesting, huh? Thus, I was completely unaware of this. That's why I thought it would be fascinating to ask you if you know anything about this or have any experience with it. If you have heard about this, please let me know in the comments section below. However, it states that the following: on-chain data registration, permission layer activation, DNA protocol, genome sequencing, cryptographic hashing, DNA identity, anchor, and immutable audit trail. The majority of people missed the enormous breadcrumbs that Brad Garlinghouse just gave us. Brad recently acknowledged, your identity is owned by the government, but Ripple isn't here to challenge the system. It is here to strategically and programmatically consume it. Could it be that the XRP ledger is subtly serving as the basis for an independent on-chain identity? We have in fact heard David Schwartz discuss this topic extensively in a variety of interviews and speeches at various occasions. It's intriguing to watch this finally come to pass. I found this to be incredibly amazing. And it seems like all the links are beginning to form here. Let's now play this Brad Garlinghouse footage. Let's get started. Discuss digital identification. Have faith in your identity's owner. Yes, it's not me. Regretfully, it's not you. The intriguing thing is that your identity is owned by the government. Why, if you lack a driver's license, a passport, a birth certificate, or any other document? I'm not familiar with the dynamics of each nation, but in general, you are not who you claim to be if you lack those things. Your identification belongs to the government, even if we might not agree with that. I think it's a given. Additionally, being realistic is one of the things Ripple has attempted to accomplish. Sometimes you just have to be realistic about the world in order to establish a business and propel the growth of the XRP ecosystem, regardless of my philosophical stance on a particular issue. Although I think blockchain-based identity is a great idea, you need to find out who owns your identity. Okay, let me check to see if anything more is present after that. Ono plus Ripple and BlackRock, it reads. Ono and BlackRock have a close relationship. Nathan Alman, the founder of Ono, is extoling at BlackRock. The Goldman, Larry Fink, and Gary Gensler triangle. Ex-Goldman is the SEC chair, along with Gary Gensler. Larry Frink's close circle also discusses Aladdin plus XRP, as do those relationships. The Aladdin platform from BlackRock serves as the brains behind the global asset management system that oversees more than $20 trillion in assets. Unverified rumors are still floating in XRP circles, but it's possible that Aladdin has tried blockchain-based cross-border payment rails like Riplet. It claims that XRP is the perfect plugin because it is compatible with ISO 20022 and FedWire's deadline of July 14. That's intriguing as well. The effort by Ripple for tokenized reward assets is discussed. Recently, Ripple highlighted its drive into tokenized commodities, real estate, treasury, and CBDCs, which reflects BlackRock's digital asset plan to tokenize the $100 trillion in capital. The same target, different timing, and the same playbook. Additionally, BlackRock and Ripple have something to say regarding BlackRock's partners with Ripple Custody Solutions. If you're interested in learning more, you may follow Stellar Ripple. Guys, let me play this. The fact that Rex will be providing custody for their partners through Ripple Solutions excites me greatly because it means that the biggest organizations in the world will be issuing money market funds and other tokenized assets on the XRP ledger and in Ripple's custody solution. For me, guys, this is the proof I needed to see that BlackRock will be collaborating closely with Ripple, and I'm not sure what would encourage you to be optimistic about the prospect of an XRP ETF in the near future if that doesn't. We are still at the beginning phases of our partnership, but I firmly think it will grow into something enormous in the future, guys. Okay, naturally, there are many links between BlackRock and All Smoke. For instance, asset managers like us VC and BlackRock are actively working with stablecoin projects as part of a larger tokenization plan to bolster this narrative. As you are aware, there are numerous connections between stablecoins such as stocks, bonds, and treasuries, and tokenization of those as well as tokenization of assets. There's just so much to see here, honestly. Those are those linkages, when finance joins BlackRock. Additionally, you begin to notice a significant increase in demand for real-world asset tokenization on the XRP ledger. Take a look at this. Plans to tokenize 200 million real assets on the XRP ledger were revealed by one of the biggest cryptocurrency exchanges in Latin America. According to Galaxy's Digital, tokenization might jeopardize NYSE earnings. Well, I don't really need to delve into that, but this is where things are growing. January 2025 to July 2025 is the time frame. The many assets that are increasing on the ledger are listed here. As you can see, you're beginning to see this, but we're just really getting started. Additionally, the number of real-world assets tokenized on the XRP ledger increased by 2,260% from 5 million in January to 118 million this day. And I understand that you're thinking, Sensei, 118 million isn't a lot of money, is it? I understand, given all of this money. However, you must begin somewhere. As Michelle mentioned, Ripple, Hidden Road, BlackRock integrating into Coinbase International, OKX, Deribit, Bitfinex, Bullish, Asian Next, and Six Digital is just sort of the starting gun. I believe you will see a surge of value coming on chain very quickly once you're able to demonstrate successfully bringing assets from the real world, tokenizing them, and bringing the digital twin on blockchain. Furthermore, you have no idea where we'll be in 6 months or even 5 years. The worldwide head of business development for Hidden Road, Michael Higgins, then went on to emphasize the need of using BlackRock's Build token as collateral. Then, according to Matthew Lee, Ripple now has direct access to asset tokenization on the capital market. And that undiscovered road connection is just here. Many things are coming full circle, BlackRock, Ripple, Ono Ripple. Naturally, there was also the new integration with the wormhole. Additionally, you should be keeping an eye on this. Wormhole has now been incorporated into the XRP ledger by Ripple. Wormhole is used by BlackRock's building platform to make it multi-chain compatible with many blockchain networks. Securitize, an institutional-grade custody platform supported by Ripple Full Circle, powers this via Wormhole, BlackRock, Ripple, and Securitize. Thus, additional connections. Seeing everything come to life is fascinating, especially when you can put this information all together. Things begin to make much more sense. However, do share your thoughts on these new ties to BlackRock. This is the first time I've gone over this material with you guys. I really appreciate you being here. I'll see you again soon. Please hit like if you have any worth. Share, please. Hello, this video should not be interpreted as financial advice. This is purely for enjoyment. I don't provide financial advice. If you require financial advice,